All right, here's a little episode of Don't Miss These Matchups. So I started doing this a little while ago, but I'm going to start getting a little louder about it. Everyone breaks down full fight cards, and until I grow and I'm a much bigger channel, I don't want to sit here and break down an entire card for you all because those videos don't get all that many views. So I started doing this though, and it seems like the views have went up, so I'm going to keep doing it. Like, subscribe, help your boy out. All right. This is called Don't Miss These Matchups. All right. It's similar. You know how Dana White does that. If you don't know, now you know, but this is my version of that, sort of. All right. So we're going to start off. This is going down Saturday at the O2 Arena, UFC Fight Night London. Going to be a great card, but we're going to hop right into this thing. And I'm going to highlight, we go up the prelims just a little bit here. Ketlin Vieira and Pani Kianzad. This is my first highlighted matchup of the night. Don't miss this one. So Ketlin Vieira, ranked number 4. She is coming off of a loss against Pani Kianzad. I really like watching Pani Kianzad fight. She's got some of the best boxing, I think, in the women's bantamweight division and just overall in women's MMA. I think she's got really slick hands on the feet. Some of her problems recently has been she just has a hard time getting going at times. Because sometimes with those fighters that have that boxer's approach, they are very slow starters. And Kianzad, as good as she is on the feet, the problem is by the time she kind of gets going and starts to pick it up, it's already too late, or she's getting outpointed or outscored, or someone's landing the more clean shots, more significant shots, or stalling the fight, or whatever it is. So it's been harder for her to win because she's not in these headliners. She's not in these main events, these 5-round bouts. So she's in these 3-rounders. So I'd like to see her pick up the pace a little bit more, but I actually think Pani Kianzad can pull off the upset. She's Ketlin Vieira is a minus 150. So this is number 4, number 7. I think Kianzad might pull the upset here and get that one done. So that's my first. Don't miss these matchups. That's my first one. Following that one, Mahmoud Muradov and Brian Barbarina. This is a potential show stealer, I should say. Brian Bam Bam Barbarina, a guy that's just always game, man. Every fight that he shows up in, he's going to brawl. He's going to bring out the best in whoever it is. I really think that a minus 335 favorite for Mahmoud. But I do think that he's going to win, but I think Brian Barbarina is going to bring the fight to him, and I think he's going to make it. Brian Barbarina just has that effect on people. We saw Robbie Lawler look great against Nico Price, which obviously that was Robbie Lawler's last fight. He knew that, so he had extra motivation coming into that one. But I just don't think Brian Barbarina has enough tools to be able to get this one done. Being a little bit of a brawler at times just isn't enough to get it done against a high-level guy like Muradov. Moving on up to Mark Diakis and Joel Alvarez. So this is also another interesting fight. Alvarez is the minus 195 favorite. I am going to roll with him in this one because the problem with Mark Diakis, I just can't get behind him, man. You know, I saw him fight live. I believe it was against Michael Johnson at UFC Fight Night Orlando, the Wonder Boy Kevin Holland card. And he's so hot and cold, man. This guy was on a tear where a lot of people were hopeful. And then he likes to showboat and he's not winning the fight. And I'm just like, where's your head at when you're doing things like that, right? So I think Joel Alvarez, guy that's kind of on the rise here, representing Spain. You know, they got this whole movement going on with Ilia Topuria. They're trying to build that market up a little bit. I think Joel Alvarez is going to get this thing done. And I think that he very well may knock out Mark Diakis. Danny Roberts, Johnny Parsons, pretty even fight. I'm going to go with Danny Roberts in this one. I think Danny Roberts is just a smooth technician at times. Danny Roberts has had an interesting career in the UFC. He's fought some tough competition. This being in his backyard in the UK, I think that this is a favorable matchup for him against Johnny Parsons. I don't think it's going to be easy, but I think Danny Roberts is going to find a way to pull this one together. I think it's going to be a tough earned fight. I can see this being a back and forth kind of a war, but I think that Danny Roberts ultimately is ready for the challenge, and I think that he's going to get this one done being on his own home soil. Don't know how many fights Danny Roberts is going to have left in the UFC, so I think that he's going to make the most of this one. Moving on up, Davy Grant and Daniel Marcos. This is an interesting matchup because Marcos representing Peru, not a ton of Peru fighters in the UFC at this time. You got to think that the UFC is trying to tap into that market a little bit as well. But Davy Grant, a guy that's just Davy Grant's been around for so long, man, in his backyard in the UK. Davy Grant, 15-6, a guy that's just a grizzled vet that's been around for so long. I'm fact-checking myself on these records just to make sure I'm right here. But, yeah, I do think Daniel Marcos is going to get this one done. He is the favorite. I just think Davy Grant's too hot and cold, man. He's 15-6. He's always a tough fight, man. There's no easy fights against Davy Grant. I just don't see how he gets this one done. And I think Daniel Marcos presents a world of problems. He's tough. He's durable. He's solid everywhere. I just think that Marcos gets this one done. Moving on up here to Jai Herbert and Faris Ziam. I believe I'm pronouncing that right. He's out of France. Jai Herbert out of England. I'm actually going to go with the underdog again here, Jai Herbert. I think this card's filled with some really, really, I'm not a gambler, but, if I was a betting man on this card, there's some fights on here that I really would like to tap into, some of those underdogs. Jai Herbert, a guy that people are overlooking over and over and over again. Jai Herbert, the plus 135 in this matchup. He's a smooth striker, man. He trains with Leon Edwards. The guy is really, really good on the feet. He's tall and long for the weight class. I know ever since he got knocked out by Ilia Topuria, people seem to forget how good Jai Herbert is. Jai Herbert was hurting Ilia Topuria pretty good. He was tagging him earlier in the fight there, and we know how good Ilia Topuria is and how highly touted he is at this point. He had a crazy knockout over Jai Herbert, but up until that point, Jai Herbert looked good. He looked smooth. He floats around. He floats and stings, as they would say. I really like Jai Herbert. I think he's a good fighter. I'm rooting for him, so I am going to pick him in this one. Definitely a tough fight. Man, some of these fights on here, like I said, some potential some win bonus money is going to be on the line. Fight of the night bonus money, definitely for some of these fights that I'm highlighting. Paul Craig. I had to say Craig, because if you don't say that, you're not pronouncing it right. Paul Craig and Andre Muniz. This is a fun fight. Grapplers delight. Maybe this plays out on the feet, because when you get two high level grapplers, sometimes they don't want to go to the ground with each other. Paul Craig, ranked number 9, Andre Muniz, number 14. High stakes here in the middleweight division. Both guys are good on the ground. We know how good Paul Craig is, but Andre Muniz, man, he's big. He's powerful. We've seen what he's able to do on the ground. I think if the fight hits the floor, Andre Muniz has the advantage there in terms of just overall strength. He's got the submissions and things like that. And I think on the feet, maybe he holds a little bit of an advantage overall on the feet. Not exactly the prettiest strikers delight matchup for us, but I think that I can see this going the distance. Muniz is the minus 215 favorite. I would agree there. I think he should be the favorite. I can see Paul Craig maybe pulling off a submission if he's able to catch Muniz in a scramble, but I don't think that's too likely here. Muniz is one of the better grapplers in the middleweight division. I think Muniz gets this one done. Nathaniel Wood, Andre Fili. This is potential fight of the night written all over it. United Kingdoms, Daniel Wood. I think he gets this one done. Andre touchy-feely's he's too touchy-feely in terms of hot and cold, and just don't know what to expect from the guy. He's a guy that likes to strike. I just don't think that he presents enough challenges to Daniel Wood. Daniel Wood's going to have that home crowd behind him. I think Daniel Wood, I don't know about a finish. I could see this one going the distance, being a really entertaining fight. I think this is going to be a great card. The crowd's going to be loud. I think that this is just going to be a good back and forth fight, but I think Daniel Wood is going to land the more clean, significant shots. And I think that Nathaniel Wood, excuse me. I have a friend. I know someone named Daniel Wood, but Nathaniel Wood, I think that he gets this one done. Moving up to the co-main, no odds for this one, but I'm rolling with Molly McCann. I think that she's looking for some redemption after that loss. I think that she's going to come out like a bat out of hell against Julia here from Lithuania. I'm not quite sure how to pronounce her name correctly, but Stoliarenko, I think is her last name. But I think Meatball Molly is going to put the pressure on her. And again, it's in the O2. It's in London. They're going to give Molly those favorable matchups. I think this is a favorable matchup for her. I think she's going to be able to overwhelm her with volume, or not with volume, but with pressure. And then she's going to start landing those power shots, and I guess start putting some volume on her, like I was trying to say there, and land those good, clean, significant shots that I think she's going to be able to put on her. I'm going with Meatball Molly in this one. And then the main event, Tom Aspinall, Marcin Tybura. I really think Tom Aspinall dominates this fight. I think he gets a finish. I think that we could see, I don't know about a clean KO, but a TKO where the ref's coming in to stop it. I think that Tom Aspinall, as long as nothing freak injury happens and he's all healed and everything's good to go, no freak injuries, Tom Aspinall dominates this fight from start to finish. I think Tom Aspinall, outside of John, the top of the heap. Well, I guess he is the top of the heap. He's ranked number 5. Tybura is ranked number 10. I think whoever wins this fight is probably going to fight Sergey Pavlovich, and then the winner of that will fight John Jones or Stipe Miocic, unless Stipe and John both retire, which I think is quite possible after their next fight. I think Tom Aspinall dominates this fight. He is the minus 475 favorite for a reason, and I would agree there. I don't see where Tybura, obviously when you're standing on the feet, anything can happen. Tom Aspinall is way too slick with his boxing on the feet. He's crisp. He's clean. He's good on the ground as well. I don't see anywhere that Tybura is able to really pose a threat. Like I said, it is heavyweight, so if one shot does land, it can change the fight. But I feel very good about Tom Aspinall getting the job done here. And Tom Aspinall, man, tough go his last time. He's been away for a while, had that, he blew out his knee against Curtis Blades, super unfortunate ending. So that is a loss, but it's not really a loss. I think that Tom Aspinall would have beaten Curtis Blades. Tom Aspinall moves like a lightweight out there in the heavyweight division. He's got good hands. He's got great power. He's slick. I think Tom Aspinall dominates this fight. I think that this is a banger card, man, in London in the O2. They're always good. The crowd's crazy. The fights are crazy. And I think this card's going to live up to the hype. What do you all think? Like, subscribe, help your boy out. I appreciate you all, and I will see you in the next one.